Uh, Welcome everybody to our next edition of BizEngineTV. I'm Dave Cho.
And I'm Matt Sullivan. Just a reminder, all these videos will be on YouTube at youtube.com/thebizengine, posted regularly to our website, www.bizengine.com. And make sure to like us on Facebook, facebook.com/bizengine, and follow us on Twitter at @thebizengine.
And our first story today comes from the Washington Post, and it concerns Congress taking on some new small business contracting reforms. In essence, the Small Business Opportunity Act that was just introduced to Congress would get advocates for small businesses involved earlier in the contracting process, which should give them a stronger voice as they go out for contracts for various things that small businesses do at the federal level. I'm so good with words. What do you think of this, man?
It's one of those interesting things we always hear about, especially in election year. Everybody's talking about small businesses and how small business is the backbone of America, and we need small businesses to grow the economy and make everything better. But it's not too often that we actually see bills and legislation coming through that directly support small businesses. They often just get the lip service from Congress and politicians. So I'm looking to see how this one plays out. It's tough for small businesses to get those contracts anyway. I mean, you're talking about federal contracts, and you need to have some sort of deliverability from a company in order to even think about winning that contract. So it's a great idea. Give small businesses more advocacy in trying to win these federal contracts and get that government money back into small business. But how much is this actually going to play out? I'm a little skeptical.
Yeah, I think there's a good reason to be skeptical. As you said, large companies tend to dominate the space.
Yeah.
Really, it's just inevitable, I think.
Yeah. And I mean, many of these contracts you're talking about, if not hundreds of thousands, in some cases millions, or billions of dollars, depending on the size of the contract, and a small business may not necessarily be able to actually produce or deliver or provide the services that the contract needs.
Exactly.
So,
the second half of this, which is also interesting and kind of connects, is that Congress is talking a little bit about connecting small businesses with mentors who can help them get financing. So that would be something too a little earlier in the process that would hopefully help. But again, remains to be seen what kind of impact.
yeah, it's huge. I was reading one article this week by Jonathan Mays, who was talking about the drastic drop-off of SBA loans and financing from Q4 of 2011 versus Q4 of 2010. Some people were getting alarmed at this, and what he really pointed out, it was the difference of government backing between the 2 years. As the government backing ran out at the end of 2010, that's why we saw this huge push of SBA loans going out. And I think that small businesses are going to need to start getting some of these mentors and expertise in how to obtain the funding and financing that they need to continue growing without the government-backed loans that were so prevalent in 2010.
Yeah, and it's going to be a complicated process. You've got to navigate that, so we'll see how it turns out.
Yeah. Our next story is more about small businesses, and it's actually an interesting post about how small businesses make communities healthier.
Open heart surgery?
Yeah, exactly. But the Huffington Post, we got to get better at our jokes. We're awful.
We really are.
The Huffington Post is reporting that sociologists at both the University of Louisiana and Baylor have discovered that areas with larger density of small businesses actually have healthier communities. One thing I found interesting is they defined small business as 4 employees or less. So we're talking small businesses.
Almost micro.
Yeah, but based on a survey of more than 3,000 counties and parishes throughout the country, that the counties with the most small businesses had the lower incidence of diabetes, obesity, and mortality rates compared to counties without small businesses.
That's really amazing when you think about it. And one of the things that I was wondering as I read this, and they have their own guesses, is what's behind this? And, what do you think?
It's My gut reaction is that these communities that are fostering small business growth and all these small businesses are popping up, you're going to get business owners who are directly invested in their communities. You're probably also going to have a higher population density, so now you're going to be hiring more people, getting people more active. More people are going to be getting health insurance. I know here we have great, advocacy and educational programs that come with our health insurance. So suddenly it's not just $20 co-pays, but how do you make yourself proactively healthy?
Right.
And these types of communities are just really going to foster and help people get better, get them the jobs that they need, get them healthier, and hopefully that keeps going, nationwide.
Yeah. And I would love to see this study repeated for slightly larger businesses too.
Yeah, getting out of the 4 employees or less, filter would be interesting. Typically we see, especially with government, is small, medium-sized businesses are typically defined as under 500 or under 250 employees, depending upon who you talk to or what agency is doing the definition. But yeah, I'd say let's bump that up to under 50 employees or under 100 employees to really see what the health trends look like there.
Yeah, I'd love to see that. So.
Yep.
And to move on to our third story now, this is actually something that we have on BizEngine right at this moment. A guest post from Chuck Blakeman at the Crankset Group, who you can follow on Twitter at Chuck Blakeman. And it's just an interesting post. It's not really newsy per se, but it just talks a little bit about the need to be relentless as a small business, the need to be able to take rejection, for instance, from banks and keep going.
Yeah, it's and I was reading this, and one of the things that really jumped out at me, so he was talking about John McCormick, who wrote Self-Made in America back in, the 1970s, 74, 75, sometime around there?
Somewhere in there, yeah.
About how McCormick went to 302 banks trying to get financing. And then finally, now he owns multiple locations of his Tex-Mex restaurant. He's pulling in, well over 6 figures. I think it's $250,000 profit a year, something like that. And I started to be reminded about all these quotes that you hear from entrepreneurs that get thrown around. And actually the one that really jumped out at me or came to the forethought was Michael Jordan's quote, is that he was able to succeed because he failed so early. Every entrepreneur, every startup, every business coach always talks about success is really mitigating failure, fail fast early, fail fast often, that type of stuff. And I think that's really one of the innate things about an entrepreneur or a small business owner is that ability to assume the risk and just keep plowing through. 302 times of getting rejected by a bank, probably similar to you getting rejected by women in college.
That's not funny. So, one of the interesting things about this too is that it's easy to feel alone as a small business owner and think, why can't I get the financing? What's wrong with my idea? And it's a reminder that here's John McCormick in the 1970s trying to deal with this, and it's the exact same thing we're seeing today.
Yeah.
Difficulty getting a bank loan, difficulty putting your idea into action, and it really does speak to the importance of hanging on. And just, if you have a good idea, you've got to be willing to stick by it. Yeah,
I remember one of my business school professors told me that a good idea is worth its weight in gold, which is absolutely nothing. It's the perseverance, the GSD, get stuff done attitude that makes a small business owner, an entrepreneur, really successful. It's you might have the same idea as 100 other people, but the fact that you're actually doing it is the difference maker.
It really is.
And it's not the fact that you're failing, it's the fact that you're trying, and you just keep trying and something's going to stick.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that about wraps it up for us today.
Yeah, it's a nice quick short one. So again, all the links to the stories will be posted both in YouTube and on BizEngine.com. Make sure to check out this article that we posted from Chuck Blakeman. Follow him on Twitter as well. Comments, let us know. It's thanks to the comments I now learned that the Newswire service is pronounced Reuters, not Rotors, which I did last week. I also realized that I was wearing the same gray sweater for the first 2 episodes. Thank you for that. And that's all I've got for this week.
That's about it for me too.
All right, have a good one.
Take care.